up, guys? Welcome back, man. I told you that I want to go as low as I possibly can with this CRV, and that's what we're gonna be doing today. Now, we have some problems we gotta get through with the front. We've also got some problems we gotta get through with the back. Our camber issues in the front are gonna be easily solved with a set of adjustable upper control arms, man. This camber kit came from MaxPeedingRods. I will have a link in the description down below. You guys know, enter DBFam for anything that you want off of MaxPeedingRods' website, and you get 10% off. Most certainly, if you are in the market for a camber kit for your CRV, they have them available. Anyhow, I'm just gonna get right into this. We gotta get those old control arms off so we can start bolting up the new ones. We're also gonna have to continue the clearancing on this thing. So to get these things out, there's actually a bolt going in this direction and one going in this direction. You have to access them from the engine bay. I could see this one, luckily. But on this side, it is down in between there. I'm gonna have to take the battery and battery tray out to really get to that. Driver's side, I can see that one pretty well. And, oh, we can see that one too. So don't have to really remove anything on the driver's side. It's just passenger side, we gotta pull the battery and tray out. All right, now we are able to access that bolt. So we got a 14 there, a 14 there, and then pull this cotter pin out. That's probably a 17. Separate the ball joint, and then we're in the clear, bro. Got lucky on that. This is one of those rusted bolts that hasn't been taken out yet. I should not have said anything about rusty bolts. Sometimes you gotta show a bitch who daddy is, you know what I'm saying? Oh, start screaming a little bit, it's fine. Keep going. Oh. What the hell? I'm not gonna say what to do if that happens. Okay, so these things look symmetrical. I don't think they are though, because the factory ones are labeled. They have an L and an R. And then the ones that came from MaxPeedingRods, they actually have a stamp on them as well. So there's an L on this one, and probably kind of hard to see, but there's an R on that one. So make sure if you do get a set of these to pay attention. There is a left and a right. Anyhow, but before we get to installing those, I need to actually clearance some things down inside of here. So the stock control arm hits right here, and I already kind of bent it out, and I had to like hammer the front of that control arm in, like smush it kind of with a sledgehammer. Otherwise, whenever you go to lower it, it just hits right here. I think the adjustable one is going to stick out even further, and I don't want to just hammer the shit out of the front of that. So what I'm going to do is actually just make some cuts right here, and then just kind of hammer this up out of the way and make us some clearance for our upper control arm to go wherever it wants to go. Well, it's getting to be that time of year again, man. I'm gonna have to start doing the yard at least once a week. Grass is coming back and the weeds are trying to pop up everywhere. I've actually got to get the trailer out of the way and stuff. I don't know if you guys remember, but I have a buddy, Jonathan, who started his own small business doing yards, cleanup work, stuff like that. So he's actually on his way. Well, he's gonna be here in about an hour. So yeah, I need to get the trailer out of the way and stuff. So he's gonna come back. I don't have any grass out back, you know what I'm saying? But there's weeds growing in between all the cars, around around the shed, around the booth, and then of course in the rocks that we put down. But he's about to come and knock all the stuff down from out back for me and take care of the front yard, man. He's gonna get back on a bi-weekly schedule where he comes out once every other week and just cleans up the yard and stuff for me. It's just one thing off of my plate, bro, that I don't have to worry about. Somebody else takes care of it. And even just being that one small thing makes a huge freaking difference to my schedule. So most certainly, if you guys are in need of somebody to take care of your yard, I'm gonna have his contact information in the description down below. If you're following me on Instagram, I'll also share his business Instagram so that you're capable of getting a hold of him. Anyhow, I think that'd be really dope if we can get, you know, a good portion of the DB fam that's here locally using Jonathan for their yard work. I'm gonna go ahead and go get all this stuff out of his way before he gets here so he's not waiting on me, and then we'll get back to the CRV. God dang there, boy. We got clearance for days now. Look at that. There ain't no way I'm going that damn low. I mean, maybe. Who knows? I still have to do the other side, but I'm just going to skip forward through that. Before we start assembling this front end, I do need to pull these coilovers out because there's something we need to change. Currently, that is as low as we can possibly go. This cup is screwed all the way on the lowest setting it could possibly reach. And then we still have a little bit of room right here that I can bring the locking ring down to meet up to it. This is with about 1/2 of an inch of preload on the spring. So what I'm gonna do is actually back this all off, and then we're gonna take these 2 locking rings out. So that right there is the freaking move, bro. That is set on slammed status. That is literally as low as you are gonna go. Well, actually, I could get a little bit more. If you pull this lowering cup off the bottom, the only way to get any more lower than the way I have it right now would be to cut this. So if you look at how much thread is on the inside of this thing, you could actually cut a good inch, inch and a half for a maybe even 2 inches. I wouldn't push 2 inches. But the way I have it now, I'm sure I might end up having to lift this up a little bit. This might be too low. Anyhow, I'm gonna show you what it is I did to get it to there. So this cup that's on the bottom, this is originally all that you have for adjusting height. What you want to do is screw that all the way on, dude. You want to bottom it completely out. So you see with this screwed all the way up as far as it'll go, I have these 2 locking rings taken out. So before we had a locking ring that would sit against the cup for the bottom, and then you had a locking ring that would sit against the spring perch. So now what we'll do is actually lower this spring perch all the way down to where it's sitting on the cup. Our spring perch is now basically becoming our lock. Tighten that against there. So now these 2 are locked to one another. We just have our cup and then we have the spring perch. But now what you have done, you have gotten rid of all of the preload in your spring. So the spring sits in here all floppy. You don't want that because whenever the weight of the car compresses this down, it pushes the shock down, and then the shock doesn't have its full range of travel up and down because it's sitting at a lower point than what it's supposed to static. Oh God, I can't even push the damn thing. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and pop this top hat off of here. And which, while we're here, check out MaxPeedingRods' top hat. It's actually a spherical bushing rather than a rubber bushing. It's actually pretty sick, dude. Alright, so now I have this old suspension on the shelf out back. I actually have a whole set of 4, and it has all the extended top hats. This right here makes a huge difference for whenever you need to drop the preload of your spring to actually get some more lowering ability. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna get our preload back by putting this extended top hat. So if you remember with our other top hat, the spring had play in it. I haven't even tightened this thing down yet, and it's already applying pressure on the spring. Now watch. Preload, baby. And that right there, my friend, is how it is we are gonna get our max low. This is going to be as low as you can possibly go on these coilovers. Now, like I mentioned earlier, we could potentially take up to about 2 inches out of this. The cup itself isn't going to screw on further, but it would allow us to bring this spring perch down further, in which then we would probably need a little bit more of an extended top hat. That's the reason why I'm not going to get into doing all that, man. I think this is going to be plenty. Honestly, I might end up having to lift this up a little bit, and if I do, then I'll end up putting these back in. All right, so I'm getting this stuff put together. I got the camber kit put on the front. I was putting the coilovers in. I couldn't even get the fork down here to reach the coilover. It was about 1 inch away, and the control arm was already hitting in there, all the way at the top. So yeah, definitely had it way too freaking low. Like that was oil pan sitting on the ground low. So I am going to add both of these locking rings back. Now that configuration, it will probably work on a Civic or an Integra or something if you're like trying to go crazy ass low. That's not gonna be like daily driver low. It's gonna be like, this is ridiculous and feels like a roller coaster every time I drive this thing low, because you're gonna be scraping on freaking pebbles. Anyhow, I'm gonna continue messing with this. Once I get it figured out how much more I need to raise it up, I'll let you guys know, and then we could finally move on to the back. All right, so I made us some room in the front. As you see, I got this jacked up, so if I jack it up any higher, it starts to lift the body up. That is how much room we have up inside of there. It's just about the same amount of room that we added right here. So that's about how much I needed to go up. I think, honestly, if we wanted to get the front of this any lower, not only will we more than likely have to raise the engine up a little bit, but I think we're gonna have to take a section out of the actual steering knuckle itself so that we don't have the problem with this control arm hitting up there. Otherwise, just have to cut more shit out. Like cut a big old hole right there. Which now for the rear. All right, now if you think the front was crazy, it's even crazier what it is we gotta do to the back. So for us to go much lower in the back, the trailing arm actually hits the body right here. Sun is beaming right there. See if you can see better over here. Yeah, so the trailing arm is actually hitting the body right here as soon as you go any lower. Not only that, but then also the upper control arm is at such a crazy exaggerative angle. So as you guys know, the lower and lower that you go, the more negative camber that we're gonna get because of the angle that this is at. So that angle is a problem, and then this hitting the body right here is a problem. So what it is I'm gonna do is actually cut the top section of this trailing arm off. So right around there, I'm just gonna lop that off of there. And then what we're gonna do is where this bolt passes through, I'm just gonna drill another hole down here, and that's gonna solve 2 problems. That's gonna straighten our control arm out to where we don't have nearly as much negative camber, and then that's also going to clearance this so we don't run into the body. But then also the lower control arm down here is an issue as well. You'll probably be able to see this side better for that now. Maybe not. Freaking sun. So you see how the control arm is already hitting the subframe right there? And that is at where we're at right now. That's with the suspension drooping. So if we go any lower, as the control arm wants to pivot up, it's running into the subframe right there. So what I need to do is actually take the bolt out, drop this control arm out of our way, and go in here with a grinder and just kind of clearance that a little bit. I don't think we need to take a lot off of that, dude. Maybe about 1/2 of an inch out of there so that this has a little bit more room for it to articulate up. So yeah, we're just gonna cut off the mounting point for the upper control arm completely. You take a big chunk out of the rear trailing arm, and then go ahead and grind about 1/2 of an inch out of the rear subframe, and then we'll be good. We'll be able to go lower. And these are all things that your car insurance company has no idea about. All right, so you see what had happened was, Jesus Christ, bro. Why can't he? Oh, hey! Look, no more freaking rug head. Now he's a welcome mat head.
Yeah. Yeah, I cut it all off, guys.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy, bro. He just did this yesterday, so this is still new for me, believe me. No more rug head, man. How am I gonna end my videos? Oh, no. You don't have a fluff ball up there. It's gonna be too hard on my lens.
Here. Puppers, come here. Come on, boy.
Puppers.
There's the rug.
Bam! There's where all your hair went. But dude, he's still looking at me all dirty. I gave him a bath today. He's been walking around all day just dogging me.
He's
literally.
So freaking fluffy. I love it.
Dude, I soaked him in conditioner.
Yeah, we swapped positions. Before he was all flat, no fur or anything.
Yeah.
I'm all flat, no fur.
This thing's still burning. Anyhow, the bolt wouldn't turn. It's like seized to the damn bushing inside of the upper control arm. Like it's seized in there and it won't come out. So I'm probably gonna have to just cut it off. Well, I have to cut it anyway, but I wanted to use that damn upper control arm. Well, my day just got a lot harder. Had no choice but to cut it. The torch didn't save us this time. Man, I got lucky. So this is the one that we just burned the hell out of on the CRV. And this is one out of the backyard. This is from a DA Integra, bro. They're literally exactly the same. So there you go. DA Integra and CRV upper control arms are identical. Finally got this thing figured out. Got it done, dude. This thing has been fighting me this entire time. I've had to cut off bolts. I've had to take the grinder, the sawzall out of this thing. I've torched everything on it. Anyhow, there we are, man. I have these coilovers bottomed all the way out, and I did end up having to cut this section off because, as you can see, it's super freaking close to the body. So with that off, now we have plenty of clearance, and I bolted it just a little bit lower, actually 3.5 inches lower to be exact on both sides. That stock Integra upper control arm freaking worked out perfect. So now it looks like we are gonna have minimal camber in the back, and that's without even having a camber kit, you know what I'm saying? But one thing that I am kind of worried about, it looks like the wheels are gonna be almost level, if not maybe an inch below the subframe. So that subframe is gonna be super close to the ground. But I will tell you that none of the exhaust is gonna work. Now it is time to go ahead and throw the wheels on. Good Lord, man. I'll tell you what, nothing makes me happier than the yard being all fresh. I'm serious, dude. Especially since I work from home, like the yard being all a mess and stuff, like you guys know how I am. Like I have to have a clean work environment, like even inside of the garage just to get my work done. Same goes for the yard, dude. Whenever the yard is all overgrown and weeds everywhere and shit, it affects you, you know what I'm saying? But so how do they get a hold of you again?
I got my Instagram. It's AZJD's Landscaping.
Yeah, I already told them I'll have it in the description down below too.
I'm still working on getting better advertising. So.
Yeah. I hear you. We're trying to get some more of the DBFam, dude, to set up some yard cleaning. Well, you do weekly and bi-weekly?
Yeah, I'll do monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, whatever you guys want.
Whatever they need.
I'm pretty flexible with prices too, so don't worry about breaking the bank because
yeah,
people out here pricing like crazy right now.
Yeah, no, yeah, I hear you. He was out here taking it like really easy with the weed eater around khaki, and like I noticed it. I appreciate it. He's about ready to do the backyard too, so I'm definitely stoked about that. I'm just kidding, man. I'm not putting Braven's wheels on here. As you guys know, I'm trying to murder this thing out. I want everything black, so we're gonna put the wheels back on that we had on it before. I know some of you are probably excited to see this thing on some Stancy wheels, but no, I have different plans. Alright, so my goal with this thing, I mean, we're gonna do some more modifications in the future, but I really do want this to be the absolute lowest CRV ever, man. So going for the Guinness Book of World Records, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow, I can say with absolute confidence that there is nobody else that has these tires. It was really hard to get my hands on these. You guys know how it is in the Honda scene. It's like you're always trying to do something different than what everybody else is doing, and it's almost damn near impossible to do because really everyone has done just about everything. Now what I'm trying to do with this is kind of do like a slammed stancy look with it, but at the same time I wanted to have like that off-road style. So that's the whole reason why it is we still went with the push bar on the front. I still have a really knobby ass freaking tire on here. Now these are 15-inch wheels and it's a really low profile tire. The overall height of this still matches like the same kind of, you know, tire size that you would put on an average Honda. I went ahead and I taped these on here to give you guys kind of an idea what it is that I'm going for. So no, we are not going to be leaving these wheel wells wide open like this. I am not a fan of how this looks right now. The back doesn't look terrible, but the front most certainly needs some work, and I never planned on leaving it like this in the first place. This has been my plan since the very beginning, man. Just waiting for these tires to come in and finding them, honestly. So I'm reaching out to the company who makes these tires to see if I can't get some kind of deal going for the DBFam. If you guys are interested in doing something similar to this, I think it looks freaking crazy, and I most certainly do think it is different from what really anybody has ever done. Anyhow, believe me, there is a lot more craziness to come with this thing. I am nowhere near done. Right now, it is a presence to see, and it's just gonna get nothing but crazier, believe me, with the plans that I have in my head. So anyhow, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is just the beginning for this CRV. I finally have the tires, so now we can start moving forward with actually making our over fenders, wide body kit, whatever it is you want to call it. That's what I've been excited about doing. So that, along with some really aggressive aero, is most certainly in the future for this thing. Now remember, the giveaway drops on Monday, so I hope you guys are excited about that. I hope you guys are digging the CRV. I also hope you guys have an amazing Friday and a really good weekend, man. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you on Monday.